Hey guys, welcome to Jeanette. 2019 is almost over and I've been organizing my cross stitch projects to get ready for next year. I've done WIP parades before, but I always manage to leave something out, and I just started a bunch of projects as sort of a birthday celebration. So I thought a WIP catalog would be a fun idea to get me inspired about choosing things for next year. I am trying to become more involved in stitching challenge groups that have prompts for projects, so I thought a visual catalog would help me easily see what would fit my challenges. First up is Emma Mills, which is an 1839 sampler that is reproduced by the Scarlett house, and I am almost done with her. I mean, I am so close. I've just got the last lines, but I'm not in sampler mode right now, whatever that means. So she's one of my projects that I'm trying to finish up as soon as I can in the new year, along with Good Intentions by Barrick, which I'm stitching on the same fabric and with the same threads. So they're going to be finished together, which is why it's a little more challenging, but I'm hoping to finish them, as soon as I can in 2020. Next is a Long Dog sampler, which I adore. I do love Long Dog samplers a lot, and I'm hoping to finish this one as 2020 as well. So this is Game of Swannes, which I started in May, and I'm getting close to halfway finished with it, but there's still obviously a lot of work. But I love the colors, I love the fabric. It's on 32 count with 2 strands, and it's really been fun to work on this year. This next project is from the Gold Collection by Dimensions, and I really like that line of cross-stitch kits, and I've been collecting them, some myself, so I would like to finish this particular design. I think it would be a pretty gift for a mother or an aunt, someone like that, a gift if I could personalize it. But we'll see what happens to it. I'm just stitching it because I like it. This next one is one of my Stitch 9 projects for 2019, and it doesn't look like I am going to finish it, but it's called Stitcher's House by Stone Street Stitchworks, and I think it's really cute, so I'm going to keep it around, and hopefully I'll have a reason to stitch on it in the upcoming year. This is Laurel Birch Mill Hill kit by called Celestial Joy, and I have already completed one in this series, but I wanted to work on this one, and it was going okay until I realized I made a pretty bad error and I needed to frog, and right there where I'm pointing, I ripped the paper when I was removing the stitches, and I don't know really what to do to repair it. I started this next one in the spring, and it's by Jeanette Douglas, one of her blooming bouquets, and this is such a beautiful design. I am doing it with the called for fabric, 36 count legacy, and I got the silk thread pack to go with it, so it's one of my fanciest projects that I have right now, and I can't wait to work on it and finish it someday. I'm not that much in a hurry, but like I said, I love working with these silks. The Gloriana silk and the Belsois too, but the Gloriana silk is like the nicest silk I've ever worked with, and I wish I could work with them some more. So anyway, it's beautiful and I can't wait to work on it again. The next two aren't very small samplers, but I'm doing them 1/1, so they're going to come out, small dimensions. But this is a Lila Studio project that I am stitching on some antique white even weave, 28 count, 1/1 with the called for classic color works, and it's going to be so pretty. I'm going to love it. I'd love to have it in a dining room. At first I was going to do it for my parents, but I might just keep it for myself if and when I finish it. This one is by Beth Twist, and it's one that I haven't seen too much yet, so I enjoy stitching it, and it's a very serious project. It's quote just words straight out of the Bible, So, you know, it's also 1/1 on 32 count linen, which would be, I mean, it's not that difficult with it being, you know, words just on the same scale over and over again. So there's nothing irregular about it, and it's gonna come out really cute. I think, you know when it's finished, and I'd like to sort of figure out how to do it as a display it as a page of a book. You know, that's what I picked the fabric to look like. This is Lucy Calcutt, and she is a pretty large lady, but stitching her 2/2 on 36 count, I was able to just barely fit her on a 1/4 yard of fabric. But I still think she's pretty big, and I've only got border work done on her so far. You know, I like to stitch samplers for a few months here and there, but it's just not my style. I like dabbling in samplers, but I like modern samplers better. So I think she's going to be one of the few reproduction samplers that I end up having. The next project is another long dog sampler, and this is Quiltz. And usually I like the Gentle Arts version of colors that she provides with her designs, but for this one I chose to use the DMC, and I like it. The next one is by Bygone Stitches called Quaker Peace, and this is just kind of a start, and it's on 22 count Hardanger, but I've kind of picked my thread palette, and you know, I really like the design. It's not a real serious Quaker. It's not a true representation, you know, of real Quaker samplers, but for my style and what I'm interested in, I have a lot of wild ideas about the sampler if I get around to working on it. So it's going to be really pretty. This is another large sampler by Barbara Anna, and I remember when I started this one, I picked it because it had no border, which I hadn't seen too much of in cross-stitch designs, and I was probably getting sick of stitching a border somewhere. Up next is a Owl Forest embroidery kit that I got last year for my birthday, and I would like to work on this some more as well. You know, it's a pretty neat design, and it's manageable in chunks, you know, the way it is set up, you know, with the motifs. So I'd like to stitch on it some more, definitely. Next is a project that I haven't really shown before. This is Twisted Band Sampler, and I've started this twice now. The first time I started it, I messed it up just completely, but I love that sampler, and so I knew I wanted to personalize it and pick my own colors, and I'm gonna put in a picture that I picked on Instagram that shows the colors better, but we'll see how it turns out. You know, I'm still afraid of those specialty stitches. They can be a little intimidating. This is a Lindy Stitches project, and it's on 36 count linen, and I'm doing it 1/2, and this is called Stars Bright, and I'm picking my own threads on this one, but it's going to be really nice. I like it. And this is 4 Elements by Norse Needlework, and I have some pretty good, I love this project. It's like one of the projects that I love the most that I never stitch on, you know, but it would look great, you know, in my living room. Basically, I totally see this as a living room project. So I'd like to get that done someday. Moving right along, this is a mini Haid that I have restarted again, and I still love the image. I had a t-shirt with this image on it that I had gotten one time and wore to pieces. So I want to keep working on this project. If I ever can get a Haid done, I guess I have more chance of getting a mini done than the full-size one that I have. So we'll see where this goes next year. These next projects are grouped by seasonal sort of things that I'll probably only work on during that time of year, you know, unless there's a prompt for a group. So this is Flower Lace Heart by aaallllll, and I've been working on this for a while, and I've made a good progress on it because it was one of my Stitch 9 projects for this year. But I'm to a point now where I am seriously concerned that I don't have enough floss, you know, left, and I'm not sure where to get some. So I am putting out the call for some of this floss that came from Hobby Lobby. It's Artiste brand called Spiced Mocha. And if you happen to be watching that and know where I might be able to get some more, let me know, please. I'm going to start looking in some of the Facebook groups to try to find more of it, but so I can finish the project. This is my patriotic piece that I've got in my stash right now, and this is a Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches, and it's not that big, so I expect to finish it when I get in a patriotic mood this year. This next one is actually one of the first things I ever started. It's a dimensions kit, and I don't have any plans to work on it, but there's just no reason to get rid of it because there's nothing wrong with it. And I could easily finish it up if I had a prompt for, you know, something beach related or sand, water, you know, I don't know, whatever it is. I wouldn't mind finishing it up. So this is what it looks like so far. I'm almost done with all the cross stitching in the chart. And this is one of my favorites, The Mighty Acorn by Jeanette Douglas. And I've put a lot of work into this one, and I'm hoping this year when fall comes around, I'll be interested in finishing it up. But I do have some issues with the middle part of the acorn itself. I realized I was one stitch off, and that was why I couldn't get my sections to line up. So I don't know if I'll have to remove that middle stitching or not. And this is, you've seen this recently probably. It's Spooky Welcome. I was working on it in October, and I'll probably wait until October for next year to work on it again. But that is going to be Halloween cross stitch project that's ready and waiting. This is Elegant Pumpkin Bowl by Arlene Cohen, and it is on 40 count with some various kinds of silks that I've been collecting, but it is so pretty and tiny, and I just love it. This project is a recent start, and it is called Thankful Hearts, and I don't know if I'm going to stick with this one because I didn't quite like the combination of fabric with the design, but it's on 28 count Carolina linen. I picked 28 count because there's a lot of back stitching in the border, and I thought that just giving, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It's okay. And this one is a recent start I had this year called Giving Thanks. And it's actually the first Little House Needleworks piece that I've decided to stitch. You know, I don't really care for small pieces like that, but I thought it was sweet, and I didn't quite finish it by Thanksgiving, so I don't think I'll pick it up until next year, but there's not much left to that one. I've had this one for a couple of years, and I'm almost ready to UFO it, but since it's just a Christmas piece anyway, you know, I'm going to keep it around for one more year, I think, and see if I can make any more progress on Repeat the Sounding Joy, which is by Kathy Barrick, and this is on 36 count Oaken with 2 strands. So, got a lot of the wing of the bird in that, but it's okay. This is the last of my seasonal projects, and this is called Elegant Christmas Tree, and I think it's by Sharon Pope. And it looks just like the way I thought a Christmas tree should look, but I did not realize how much fractional stitching was going to be in this project. So it may take me a while, but you know, I've got 2 Christmas projects at this point to work on, so that should give me some stuff to do. Now that was the last of the projects in my WIP box that I keep downstairs in my stitchy spot, but I also have some more projects that I keep in a rolling case upstairs, and I'm going to switch to those now. I also like to stitch in my bedroom, so I keep projects up there to work on. And so I have some recent additions that I'm going to be showing you, but I'm just going to run through every project I can get my hands on. This is the Time Traveler. I've shown her several times. I dyed the fabric for her. She is supposed to be for my eldest daughter, who used to like Doctor Who, but she doesn't really like the newest season. She doesn't really watch Doctor Who anymore, so both of us have sort of kind of stalled on this project. The next is Renaissance Mermaid, and I've had her going on for a couple years now, but you know, she's getting there. She's on 36 count. Originally I thought she was on 40 count, but the fabric is measuring up to be 36 count, and so I haven't done anything to convert the beads for that yet, but she's almost halfway done, you know. So I'm looking forward to having her finished one day. This is my other Mirabilia, which is the Sun Goddess, and I'm stitching her as charted on 32 count linen, but you know, I really do prefer the 36 count linen on full coverage pieces. I think it looks really nice, so I don't know what's going to happen to this one. And this is my other Mirabilia, or at least the start, and this is Lady Justice, and she is on 36 count, and I love those colors. I mean, the colors are amazing in this chart, and I really like the gray fabric, the linen I picked, but there I'm sitting here staring at a big mistake that's going to have to be frogged, and so I haven't touched her in a while. Next are a few small hoop patterns that I've got going. These are mostly from Etsy, and this is by Harp Seal Cross Stitch, and it's a Van Gogh Starry Night pattern. This is a start on a city landscape of Atlanta by Awesome Pattern Studio, and it's kind of cute to work on, I guess. And next is a Galaxy Unicorn, and this is on silver perforated paper. Here's another cute one I got off Etsy. It's a sloth hanging off a cup of coffee, and I feel like it is my spirit animal this time of year, so I started it on my birthday. And I also have another Mill Hill kit that I started, which I'll probably work on through this holiday season. Really, I would keep it up any time of year, but I decided to start another Mill Hill kit after I ripped the other one. This next one is also a recent start, and I like it a lot. It's a freebie called Quiet Please Cross Stitcher at Work, and I am doing it on coffee dyed linen and with a DMC variegated color, Chilean Sunrise, and I like it. It's really relaxing to work on. This next one was a Mania project from this year, and it is called HL's Moth, which is a reproduction charted by Barrick, and it's not that big. You know, it's on 40 count, but I can finish this. And this is a sal that I started, and I don't know if I'll finish it, and I may stay away from sals in the future, but this is a Pride and Prejudice sal that I haven't finished. And this is Houses of Hakran Hollow, another restart. I've tried to start this piece a couple of times now, and I finally found a combination that I really, really enjoy. I wanted to use the called for DMC threads, and so I finally settled on 36 count colonial parchment from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm only on the first block still, but it's definitely a long-term project. And this is sort of a secret project I've had going on. This is the Speak to the Earth sampler from Cooler Designs, and I sort of started it. It's on 28 count Heartland, but it's with 3 strands of floss, which is just throwing me off all over the place. And this one is my only full-size Heaven and Earth design. This is the ultimate project of my lifetime, if I can do it. You know, it's huge. It's 725 stitches wide, and I just imagine it up on the wall, and, you know, I would really like to have a Haid some days, and this is the one. This is a stitch in time. These are just quick flashes of starts. This is for my son, and it's called A Quiet Stroll from Artisy. And, you know, I picked projects to start for each of my children so I could think of them when I was working on it. So this is the one that he picked, and it's going pretty well. And this is, oh gosh, Northern Lights, I think, called by Stitchrovia, and this is the one that my eldest daughter picked. And that's a pretty neat one too. And this is his eyes on the sparrow. I'm just flashing these up. I've shown this before, but this is going to be a finish in 2020 if I can manage it. I already stitched 2020 as the date in there, so I'm almost done with the top row, and I've got a lot of stuff in the middle too. And this is Greyhound number 2 from Yoda's Cross Stitch off of Etsy. And I'm stitching this for my aunt, and I'm going to be finished with this next year. I'm trying to finish it up. I'm about 2/3 done with this Greyhound, and yeah, it's a fun stitch. Okay, and this is a gold collection, my only full-size gold collection that I have started so far, and it's called Romantic Floral, and this is my start. It's actually my most recent addition to the WIP pile, and I'm trying to rein it in from here. I love stitching all the things. I love seeing all the different types and varieties of projects that I have, but I usually forget to show you guys one project, so I'm going to show you one more thing. And this is a sampler, a family sampler from Artiste, and I am stitching it for my family and customizing it for them, so it takes a long time. But this is what I've got so far, and I'm showing and just stitching it from the bottom up so I can build it as I go along and add everybody's name. And that's a really, really important project to me. And of course, in true fashion, I forgot one project. And this is one last project for my youngest child, called A Mother's Love, and my unicorn project, if you want to call it that, literally. But that's every one of my cross stitch projects that I've started and I'm willing to work on. So I have quite a lot to choose from in 2020. I should have plenty of options for doing any stitching challenges. And I am also geared up for some finishes, of course. So if you have any questions about any of the projects listed below, just leave a comment. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great December and that your planning for 2020 is getting off to a good start. And I'll see you next time.